That's why I'm Katie blowing high like Arizona, blowing them 3-5s. I'm missing all my amigos on this Cinco, RIP 5. Even when I'm hurt, I tell myself that I'm gonna be fine. I feel just like a shot.
What's going on, my gardeners? We here in Mellow Garden, and today we are on day 30 of veg. Now in our 5th week of vegetative growth here for our little cannabis plants. And today, or I'll start with tomorrow, we are going to transplant all the grows into these 3-gallon pots here. See, we got the soil pre-mixed. I think we went over this on, what was it, our day 21, or no, day 14 video. I think we went over what I mixed into this soil. It's just been sitting here for a couple weeks now. I've been keeping it fairly moisted. It's dried out a little bit, but it's still fairly moist. But yeah, we're gonna be transplanting tomorrow. So, since we are transplanting these, what I want to do is get together a little compost tea. Compost tea is just going to be there to help maybe make the transitioning period just a little more easy on the plants, as well as help charge up this soil, the microbial life in this soil. It'll help give it a nice fresh dose, plus more food for what's already in there to help break down the nutrients, because we do want them. I think I might have been fairly heavy on the amendments in there. So we do want a fairly healthy microbial life system within our soil to rapidly break down these dry amendments and make them more available for the plants to uptake. And that's what our tea is going to do. So what you see here, plus these worm castings down here, is what I am going to utilize in the tea. And I think we'll bring the water to the ingredients instead of the ingredients to the water. We can throw this right back on the bubbler when we're done assembling everything. Grab that. This is just under 2 gallons of water in there, maybe 1.5 to 1.75. We'll put some water in this cup that we'll come back to. And usually I have some cheesecloth or something, but I can't find it, and I'm not about to run to the store for it. So we're just gonna do this way. It's gonna make our bucket a little dirty at the end, but it all gets the same process done at the end of the day. So what I'm gonna do, I think we're gonna go, that's a pretty big tablespoon, just boom, straight into the water. Again, makes the stuff a little, you're gonna have to do some cleanup work, more than you would, but it works the same as if we had cheesecloth or something to drop it in. Boom, that's 2 big tablespoons of worm castings. And I think we might go with a little bit of alfalfa. Man, I really need to get a camera stand. Alfalfa meal. Then we're gonna come to our Espoma products. I'm just doing a teaspoon of everything except the worm castings. I did 2. I guess this alfalfa meal was probably closer to half of this. Tablespoon. This is a tablespoon, ain't it? Yeah. I also couldn't find my official measure and stuff, but again, the measurements really aren't that strict with this. You could go higher even if you wanted to. You could go lower if you wanted to, but it's just how I'm doing it. So we got a light tablespoon of our biotone here. And this Espoma Biotone does contain mycorrhizae, which is nice, so I don't have to go out and buy any. This is my first run actually where I'm not using any extra mycorrhizae additive. Didn't go out and buy anything, and the plants are looking amazing without it. Espoma products are very good and inexpensive. If you're trying to get into growing, I would definitely recommend getting some. Not gonna break the bank, and they work great. Then this plant tone is just a sort of general purpose plant type food. Both of these Espoma products got lots of different microbial lives in it. Obviously this one's got fungi in it as well. That's what mycorrhizae is. It's a fungal form of life. Whereas we also got like these, what is this? Bacteria or something, other different microbial life forms. There's similar stuff on the plant tone as well. And the last component of any compost tea, you're gonna need some sugars to feed the microbes. It does not actually have to be molasses. You could probably use some raw organic type of honey as well. Maybe if there's some type of syrup that's not super processed or something, you could use it. But generally, they're just looking for something sweet to eat, is what the microbes are looking for. Sugars helps them build themselves up. If you do use molasses, the only important thing to make sure is that it is unsulfured. It does not have to be blackstrap. I think that's a slight misconception that it got me when I first started using molasses. I bought this expensive ass bottle of blackstrap. I got some regular Granny's molasses upstairs somewhere. For these purposes, that would work just as fine. Anyways, why we took our water, a little bit of water, is so we can pour this molasses in here. And the molasses, I didn't measure it out. Just do another tablespoon if you do want a measurement for it. But you'll want to, should have used the skinnier side of the spoon. But you want to have the molasses, since it's so thick, very and hard to move around. You get a little bit of water, pre-mix the molasses in there like we are doing. There, I gave that a good stirring. And that way, now that it's already pre-mixed and stuff, we can just bring it to the water. And this will help the molasses not just sink straight to the bottom of that bucket and sit down there. It'll be well dispersed. Plus, we're gonna come through with one more quick stirring. Yeah, and that is the good stuff right there. Those for the plants. I ain't never tasted none myself. But yeah, that's our compost tea. And keep it a buck with y'all. Everything up here, if you don't have it or didn't want to use it, you wouldn't have to. The only two things you truly need for compost tea is generally something that has beneficial bacteria in it, which most people know, or a simple one to do is worm castings. If you have worm castings, water, a bucket, and something sweet like molasses or honey, then you can put together this compost tea. The only other thing you need is air pumps, because this has to stay oxygenated. So we're about to get it back over there right now. Boom, we're back over here. Y'all see I don't have this directly on the carpet. I think that might help with temperature in the bucket. Sort of boosted up on cardboard and plastic down there. But we just dropped these two little nozzles in here. These two will be good enough. This is a cheap little air tank thing, or air pump for an aquarium that I got out of Walmart for like 10 bucks. It works. Then this dirty white one over here, this came off Amazon, I think. Or did this one come off Amazon? This one might have came off Amazon, or I might have got it out of a store. I actually don't remember now. But it's fairly simple. Stuff has little nozzles, and it connects to these air stones. Now, one thing to make sure is, I would get them bundled. Some of these don't come with the nozzle and air stone for some reason. This is the air stone, or that you drop in there and it kind of pumps air through. Some of them don't come with the nozzle or air stone. They just come with the pump itself, which is pretty dumb to me. Like this $10 one here from Walmart, it did not come with a nozzle or a stone. But luckily, I had an old air pump that I broke by letting it, that's another thing. With these, I'll get to that in a second. My old air pump broke, so I already had some material laying around. So luckily I didn't have to buy any extra stuff, just the pump. And I had this stuff laying around for it. But I would pay attention to that. A lot of these don't come with the accessories you need to use them, which is pretty stupid. But anyways, another thing, do not leave your pumps too close. I was an idiot and kind of had one set up like this in a way. So you see that's real close. Now, if we left this like this, that wouldn't be a problem. But generally, the very last step of the compost tea is you kind of want to put something over it to cover it, like this. Just another little plastic bag here. And when this is on here, it makes it dark in there, and stuff is going to start bubbling. It's going to really get foamy over time and kind of start to bubble up through there. That's a good sign of a good compost tea. And I did that once, and liquid spilled all through, got in my pump, and it was fried. Update on the plants, compost tea brewing. We're gonna let that little tea over there brew from 16 to 24 hours. I used to think it had to be longer, and I was off. I think I used to say stuff around 30 plus hours, maybe 30 to 36. That's too long. I'm wrong about that. You really don't need to go over 24 hours. Like I said, 16 to 24, 28 at the latest. Stuff starts to kind of degrade the longer you let it go. So that's why we got it bubbling just the day before we're gonna transplant. And yeah, that is all for our day 30 update. Now, see how this good stuff is looking. Oh yeah. This is a sign that your compost tea is doing real good. Nice and aerated, all these bubbles in it. I did get down here a little later than I would have, so this one probably has brewed for 26-ish hours, 24 to 26 hours this one brewed. Again, 18 to 24 is probably the better range, or 16 hours to 24, 18. But anyways, we'll pull these two air stones out. Take this bucket. 16-ounce cup. And we are over here to use this stuff up. This stuff is not like savable. Once it's time to use, it's time to use. So we should try to get as much as we can on out. Go. They should love this. Should help take some stress off of them from transplant. All right, so I hit these each with about 2 1/4 cups. It's 16-ounce cup, so what is that? About 36 ounces each. But yeah, that is what we got going. Day 31 transplant.
At the stop sign, police get behind me like a deadbeat pops, it ain't mine. And I'm just trying to get high, just like the BG, staying alive.